Okay, so this is how far we've gotten in our concept mapping. And remember, we created our questions. How do we identify characteristics of a successful entrepreneur, business owner? How do we identify people, or who do I know that's a successful business owner, and how do we analyze those characteristics? So in essence, we can't move here to the how, or to the left, the hows are to the left or to the right. We can't move there until we identify this piece here in the middle. Okay, so how are we going to do that? Let's go to a new search, and we can actually find successful entrepreneurs. And so entrepreneur.com, Entrepreneur isn't actually a magazine. They have their website, and so let's click there. And we're going to start by just a very common website. And so we're going to go back to our brainstorm and start that new tier. And let's change that color. I didn't mean to do that. Let's delete that. Let's see. As I keep creating, which is not what you want to do. That's what I want. So we're going to come up here to the top, delete. Come up here. It's not giving me much room. Okay, so now we're back. So I want to create a new bubble, and I'm going to type in identify via a web search successful entrepreneurs via a web search. And this is a different green, but I don't know if you guys can actually tell, so I'm going to change it more to the blue. Alright, so we're back here. And so we know that if they come to the web search, it gives us a list of successful things to do as an entrepreneur, all the way down to the bottom. So those are 25 successful steps. And we can also, these are the 25 common characteristics of a successful entrepreneur. So these are the traits that you could have them start off with, but they did it by creating a web search. And this is what's going to drive your lesson. We can also identify an entrepreneur with that same web search. And it has from Success Magazine, the 50 greatest entrepreneurs of all time rather, and it has all of these people. Okay, so maybe you wanted them to look at Walt Disney, Madam C.J. Walker, Estee Lauder, Henry Ford, of course. And they have some great list of people down here, entertainment wise, fashion, retail, technology, of course, Bill Gates, Steve Jobs here. So say we clicked on Steve Jobs, and it should give us an overview of Steve Jobs and what he did. And so that may be where you start from. Once they've identified an entrepreneur, then they would come back here, and you're going to do this within the lesson. But once they've identified their entrepreneur, Then we can connect these. Let's see. And we're going to draw a connection bar to that and to that. Because once we identify the successful entrepreneur, now we can come and identify the characteristics. What did they do? Did they actually go through some of those 25 characteristics that we just found? And then if we analyze the characteristics, we can figure out if it works for everybody or if it's something that's sustainable or replicable. So this is basically all that I'm asking you to do. Let me zoom back out. Before class on Tuesday. Okay, so I want you to find your standard, break your standard down like we did in the first tier, go through reflection, have reflection help you figure out how you're going to apply your standard, which is what we did here with identifying people, and then inverting those pieces that are important, like the identification and the analyzing. Let's make those questions, and that's what you did on the second tier out to the right, third tier out to the right. And then lastly, you're going to use the web initially to identify those successful entrepreneurs. Now this is not going to be the end all be all. This is not going to be your only use of technology, but this is the beginning. And once we go into the lesson plan design part of it, that's when we get into the meat of it. So out of the CREST part, we still have the S and the T to go, and that's what we're going to do on Tuesday. So if you can get this piece right here worked out for me and have it done by Tuesday, then Tuesday will go a little bit simpler, and you'll be able to really get into the meat of the lesson plan and be able to work through the quirks of lesson plan design a lot quicker. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to email me or text me, and I hope that this little run through helped. Thanks, and I'll see you guys on Tuesday.